Good morning, students. Today we will start with Kohlrausch law. Kohlrausch law is what that we have already learned. The molar conductivity, that is lambda m of electrolyte, increases with dilution till limiting molar conductivity, that is lambda m naught, is obtained at infinite dilution. In this limit, the positive and the negative ions may be thought of as behaving essentially independent of each other. So based on this fact, Kohlrausch he had given one law. Actually, Kohlrausch law is for what? Whenever there is need to calculate the molar conductivity of strong electrolyte, it would be easy because strong electrolyte can decompose completely into their ions, and as the number of ion increases, molar conductivity will also become increases. But whenever we are talking about the weak electrolytes do not dissociate and it do not reaches to the limiting molar conductivity, because here the dilution will never become zero because dissociation cannot take place completely. That's why it would be very difficult to calculate the molar conductivity of weak electrolyte. So here Kohlrausch he said that if cation are same and anions are different, then difference in conductivity for both can be taken, and with the help of this one we can calculate the conductivity of an weak electrolyte Here we can take example, that is molar conductivity of KCl is 149.9 and molar conductivity of NaCl is 126.5. When we see the difference between these two, it is 23.5. Now here by keeping the or by changing the cation and keeping anion constant, here the value will be KBr is equal to 151.9 and NaBr is equal to 128.5. The difference that we got between these two is same, that is 23.4. Again here we are going to change anion or keeping the anion same, and different cation we will be taking, that is potassium nitrate and sodium nitrate. Limiting molar conductivity of these two is 145.0 and sodium nitrate, that is 121.6. Then the difference between these two is 23.4. It means by changing cation or anion we can get the difference as same. So with the help of this one, Kohlrausch had given one law with the by that we can calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes also. So what is Kohlrausch law? So according to this law, at infinite dilution, when the dissociation is complete, each of the ion makes a definite concentration towards molar conductivity of the electrolyte irrespective to the nature of the electrolytes. Okay, see here lambda, that is molar conductivity of NaCl, or lambda m naught, that is limiting molar conductivity we are calculating. So here it dissociate and it will give rise to Na plus and Cl minus. So this is Kohlrausch law. How to calculate that we will discuss. First we will have the application of this one. First application, that it helps us to calculate the molar conductivity of weak electrolyte. How it helps? So see here we have one example for this one. Like if we need to calculate the molar conductivity of acetic acid, because acetic acid it is a weak electrolyte, so it can't dissociate completely. So here the molar conductivity of this one can be calculated by taking these three, that is sodium acetate, sodium chloride and hydrochloric acid. See, this is sodium acetate, hydrochloric acid and sodium chloride. So by dissociating this one, it dissociate into CH3COO plus HCl dissociate as H plus Cl minus, and this one dissociate as Na plus and Cl minus. So by adding these two and subtracting this one, here you have to these two and subtracting this one, whatever is present as common, that you have to subtract. So this Cl get cancelled, Na get cancelled, then finally we will get CH3COOH. So by putting the value of this one, value will be given in the question only. By putting the value of this one, we will get the value of acetic acid with the help of these strong electrolyte. So this is the first application of Kohlrausch law, that it helps us to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. Second, it helps us to calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Again, degree of dissociation, we know that it is denoted as what? It is degree of dissociation is denoted as alpha. So alpha is equal to lambda c upon lambda naught. Lambda c, that is the molar conductivity, and lambda naught, that is limiting molar conductivity. So molar conductivity, we know that it is equal to kappa into 1000 upon molarity, that already we have done once. And this is limiting molar conductivity, that is whatever the electrolyte we have, that is taken as AB. So it dissociate as A plus and Cl minus. So with the help of this one, we can also calculate alpha. Third, it also helps us to calculate the dissociation constant. Dissociation constant, that is K. K is equal to C alpha square upon 1 minus alpha. This also we have done in class 11th only. So here in this class we do not have any of the derivation based on this. Only you have to know about the formula. With the help of formula, we can calculate dissociation constant. So these are the three application of Kohlrausch law, which help us to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. So after that, till now we have discussed about the electrochemical cell. Electrochemical cell means what? It is a cell in which the reaction is spontaneous, and here chemical energy get converted into electrical energy. But now we have to talk about the electrolytic cell. Electrolytic cell and electrolysis. So what do you mean by electrolytic cell and how does it work? Electrolytic cell, it is a type of cell in which electrical energy get converted into chemical energy, because here we are going to give electricity from outside to perform any type of chemical reaction. Like you can take example of battery that we are using in car or anything, in which we have diluted acid, and whenever we pass electric current to the acid, here the dissociation of this one takes place, and by this one it is able to conduct electricity in the battery, and this electricity we are using in our vehicles. That is this process called as electrolysis, whenever we are passing electric current to any of the electrolyte and here chemical reaction takes place, that is called as electrolysis. This electrolysis also help us in the metallurgy process, that already you have done or studied in class 10th also. So once again I am going to explain what do you mean by electrolytic cell. So electrolytic cell, it is a shell in which electrical energy get converted into chemical energy, and this energy we people are using for different purpose. Here we have given example of a battery, and it is also useful for the metallurgy process. Now electrolytic cell, it consists of, whenever we are talking about the setup of this one, so setup, first it consists of electrolytic tank, which is made up of some non-conducting material like glass or wood or bakelite. It should be non-conducting, that because we are passing electric current, so electric current do not flow outside of the container or the tank, that's why it should be made up of the non-conductor or insulator. Second, electrolyte in its dissolved state or in molten state. We know that because electricity, it can conduct electricity only when it is in their ionic form, or if it is in the solid form, it do not conduct electricity. That's the second condition is that it is either present in the molten state or in the aqueous state. Next, source of electricity and electrochemical cell or battery, anything we can use. So this is the setup. It is just opposite of electrochemical cell. In the electrochemical cell, anode is taken as negative or cathode is taken as positive, but here in the electrolytic cell, anode is taken as positive and cathode is taken as negative, and everything would be different here. It means the electricity in electrochemical cell, here the electron moves from anode to cathode, and electricity generate from cathode to anode, but here it is just opposite of that. This is the setup. Rest